Hello, everyone. This is Ross from Retro Dream Beam. I'm an eBay seller full time. I've been doing this with my fiance Netta for a couple years now. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. This is going to be a quick one. I'm about to show everyone how I ship trading cards, board game, promo cards. So it's going to be real simple. Let's go ahead and do it real quick. Before we get into it, there are a ton of ways to ship trading cards. The only important thing is that it gets to the customer without any damages, scratches. Basically, like you want it to be sent the way and condition that you had it in the first place. Almost nothing else matters. I'm just going to let you know my personal opinion of what I think is best, but I'll also show you some other ways of what other people think is good. But overall, I would say like 99.9% of the time, most cards in all these different ways, shapes, or forms of shipping are sent and they're undamaged. Therefore, that's the goal of this. All right, the first way, I think this is kind of like my personal favorite right here. This is like if you walk into probably a trading card store, they're probably going to do something very similar. So the first thing is you grab your standard size card. That's like Pokemon and Magic. Yu-Gi-Oh is going to be a little bit different. You're going to have to get some sleeves that match them. I go ahead and use these penny sleeves. I don't know what the price of these things are now with inflation, but normally it would be $1 for 100 of these. This is just like a nice little film protector. This makes sure that it doesn't get scratched when you go to step 2. Step 2 is going to be top loaders. Brand doesn't matter to me, just like as long as it's like a good top loader. I will reuse some top loaders as long as they're clean. So you go ahead and put it in there. You'll see the card kind of gets stuck, so you kind of do that right there against your own like wrist. You can see it goes in nice. You can try to pinch it in. I don't like to try to pinch it in. That's where you can get some damages. Also, some people will just take it, knock it on the table, it goes in. I just happen to know like that works right there. So now that we got the card in the top loader, some people do like to put tape here. I just a personal preference. I don't want tape near any of my cards. I don't want any of the goo to be melting. I've never seen that actually happen to a card. I just don't. There are a lot of people that think you need to tape this. You use it like a little piece of scotch tape. Go ahead if you want to. Like I said earlier, as long as the card doesn't get damaged, it almost doesn't matter. I also don't like the tape on the top there because someone's going to have to use like scissors or something to kind of cut it open, and then it risks damaging the card. That's just like my personal preference, but I know a lot of people they swear on the tape because they don't want this falling out. But like as you can see, this thing's not going to. I would have to do this wristing. Look at this. It took a lot of effort to get that out. I'm really putting a lot of oomph into that. So yeah, I would not use the tape. All right, next up is going to be a team bag. I happen to have Ultra Pro. I've also had like other weird like baggies and stuff. It's just a small little sealant. I use this as a lot of people use this. So this one has a little film. This is to make sure that there's no liquid or anything. So right here it has this little seal. I take off the seal. It gets stuck on my fingers there. And I go ahead and wrap this up. So this kind of in my head replaces like the tape portion right here. This now, if this is in water, theoretically, I mean, liquid can still probably get in if there was enough of it, but this is just like an extra protection from the elements. And the last thing is the envelope. I forget, I'm going to be shipping this eBay standard envelope. I know there are like certain dimensions that you can and can't do. This is just what I happen to have. I think this is just 7 inches by 4 inches. So this one, I know it does work for eBay standard envelope. So you go ahead and put it in here. Now there's a couple of things that you can do from here. So this just has like a little seal right here. And then Anetta prefers to put a piece of tape right here. I don't care about that part, but that's just what she prefers. So I'll go ahead and do that right there. So we'll put a piece of tape right here. I'll show you another thing you can do if you don't want to do the tape. I would pass on the tape, but so we have this weird envelope with this kind of opening right here. I don't want anyone to see what this is. There are a lot of like people that will be stealing this, right? Like I'm not gonna lie, if this is on like a porch or something, a kid sees Pokemon, it's probably opened up, it's gone. Unfortunately, it is what it is. So we are going to then, after we print out our label, right? Once we get our label, this is kind of what we do with it. So right over here, because we have our weird front thing right here, we're going to put it right here, kind of like this, and it does have to loop around. I remember there's like going to be a certain part of it that you don't have to worry about it looping around. So you can go ahead and loop that around. All right, and then we have the prepaid labels, make it a little bit neater than that, but this should be good to go. But if you don't have this opening on the front, what I would do instead of the tape is I would put the label over here, and it would kind of like act like a tape, kind of wrap it around. So I'll give you an example of that. So if, like I said, if we didn't have that front part that I want to cover up to make sure people don't really know what's in there, you can go ahead and then this would act as the tape right there. So this is going to be good for eBay standard envelope. Also, I think if you add a stamp there, that should be fine without eBay standard envelope. Just make sure that the weight is correct. All right, what if you don't have envelopes? I've seen people use like small rigid mailers like this right here. You could probably get away with just putting, if you have the penny sleeve with the top loader with the team bag, you could probably get away with putting it in here. It's still going to shift around. That would make me uncomfortable. It's probably good 999 times out of 1,000. You could take like a piece of cardboard right here if you want. You're going to cut it down here, and then you can maybe put some tape on this. Let me go ahead and show you guys an example of that right here. You could probably like do this right over here. All right, so you can probably do something like this right over there. It's not going to shift around. You can seal it up, put your label, you're good to go. All right, next up is sometimes you ship more than one card. So I would do this for, I would say 10 cards is the max. So you're going to go ahead to 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cards. These cards are still in their penny sleeves. There's still the top loader right here. So I still have the team bag. So I'm using the top loader kind of as a backing. I would not push this too much. I'd be very careful with it. You got to make sure you put them in the team bag right here. Make sure it flaps good. So yeah, this gives it like a firm backing. See, I'm trying to, I mean, if I really try, I can bend it, but that's if I really want to try. So now you can go ahead and put this in the small rigid with the cardboard, with the tape if you want, or you can even, if you don't trust the small rigid, and it's like, let's say if this is a nice juicy sale, you don't want it to get damaged, you can go ahead and put it into like a box like this. So we would go ahead and put it in there. Make sure you have some like void fill paper, bubble wrap to make sure that doesn't get shifted around. Or if you, like I said, if this is a really good sale and you go ahead and you just want to use 10 different top loaders on these, that's fine. This is what I would do personally. I've never had issues with this. If you start going 11, 12 or more, you're going to start it's going to be a hard time putting in here. You'll probably get stuff bent. So yeah, I would probably do like multiple cards. You could probably only fit 2 in a top loader. They would have to be in the same penny sleeve as well. So yeah, once you get past 2 cards, you probably want to do something like this. All right, now what do I do if I get a full stack of cards? Let's say if there's a bunch. I have a bunch of these random containers all around, all different brands. So I'll just find what matches the number of cards. I'll go ahead and put them in here. I would make sure that if, like, see how the snaps close? If there's a little bit of wiggle room, I would probably stuff some, like, piece of paper in there to make sure. Oh, this one's actually a pretty good case. I'm having a hard time popping it out. That was a good case. All right. I would probably put some kind of like bubble wrap, something just to make sure that stuff's not shifting around. Make sure it's a clean piece of paper. This is like void fill. All right, that's leaning over the edge. I would fix that. But yeah, make sure that there's no wiggle room. You don't want the sides and corners to be bent. Remember, I said the main thing is to make sure that this gets to the customer. It's not damaged. They might even be happy that you gave them a storage container. They'll use this. Maybe they'll ship it out, or they'll put like their extra cards in it. All right, and then this container over here is even bigger. So if you sell like 100 cards or something like that, just like a big stack of cards, this one is just a side loading. I'm just showing you different types of containers. They can go ahead. Be careful when you're putting these in. I've handled cards a lot, so I can do it pretty quick without damaging them, but like just be careful with everything. So see right here. Also, if you want to tape this, I don't like to tape as little as tape as possible, because like this person could use this storage container, but then this will probably have to go in something. This is a 6-inch by 4-inch by 2-inch box right here. Any brand will do. I would probably put bubble wrap, void fill right there. So that's how you do a bunch of cards. All right, last thing Annetta wanted me to mention is let's go back to a single card with the penny sleeve into the top loader right over there. She said if you want to avoid putting tape near the card so it's easier to open for someone, just take like a Post-it note. There's going to be tape right here and right there like that. So then the person can easily like unwrap this and not have to work. And then they still have their top loader. The top loader doesn't have tape anymore. All right, that's just some of my personal preference. Like I said, there's a ton of different ways that people ship trading cards. This is like just a way I've seen this, like some card stores doing it. So go ahead into a card store, ask them how they do it. You'll see it's something similar to this. There's also a whole bunch of other ways. I just kind of went through some of the ways that I like to do. As long as the card gets there and it's undamaged and in the condition you sent it, that's all that matters. I've shipped and have been shipped over 100,000 various types of cards, from Pokemon, Magic the Gathering, to board game promos. I've seen a bunch of different ways. I have never had a card, no matter what someone has sent, in what shipping method. I've never had a card damaged in transition, and I've never sent an item and had a card damaged in the way that I ship it. I think the 3 essentials is I would always personally want to put a card in a penny sleeve and then into a top loader and then into a team bag or something similar to make sure it, potential less liquid damage. The only time I've purchased a card or sent one and then something happened was it just got lost in the mail. That's unfortunate, but that has nothing to do with how you package it. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you'd like to help us support us. Purchase something down below, make it a card to make it themed.